Gorbert, hey again, welcome back. You find anything of use? Yeah, we know who we're up against. Crate and the people are being funded by Ares. That's not what I was hoping to hear. Ares is serious business. So what's next? We can't exactly take the fight to them. We aren't equipped for that. Chu is talking to her corporate contacts. With luck, we can end this thing with a comm call. They're up to something in Daibo. My best guess is that we'll be heading there next. We have a target. Good. I would very much like to bring this episode to a close. Yeah, it's not gonna close for a long time, Rector. Yo, PDA buzzer's cutting him off. Chu, answer the call. Chu's face flickers onto the PDA's view screen. She looks haggard, even more so than before. The call was a bust, SCKC. I've still got a few execs willing to go to bat for me, but the rest have already written us off as a failure. Nobody's gonna risk antagonizing Ares on my say-so. We're gonna need a hell of a lot more than one misfound email if we're gonna convince them to move on this. I guess we're heading to Daibo. Yeah, looks that way. She let out a long sigh. Look, SCKC, I told you that you and your team would be well compensated for helping me, but I never really specified exactly what your reward would be. I think that you should know. Oh? You've got my attention. We'll start with the bad news. I can't put a monetary value on what your team will receive. It doesn't have any monetary value, but it has sentimental value. Truth be told, I'm gonna have to wrestle with corporate to get them much of anything. A lot of the cost of renting out the Benteng came out of what had been set aside for your reward. Oh good, you've spent my reward already. Alright, that's cool, Chu, that's real cool. Excuse me, what? She spent your reward already, Isobel. You'll still get paid, I promise you that. It just won't be enough to retire on. Nothing I can do about it, that's just the way it has to be. Gorbert crosses her arms over her chest, a disgusted look on her face. Yeah, I'm sure it is. We never should have trusted. Chu's voice cuts in, poking over her. As for you, SKZ, you're a different story. For you, I've got something better than money. Keep talking. Keep talking. I can get your sins restored, Duncan's too. I can give you your old lives back. What the hell makes you think I want my old life back? Alright, give Duncan his life back. I don't want mine back. Holy shit! That's right, imagine the doors now open for you. You can return to Seattle, pretend that none of this ever happened. Hell, you can do whatever you want, and you can do it completely above board. What I'm offering you is the freedom to make your own choices again. The same freedom that Crate and Josephine Sang and Candy Chen took away from you. Anyway, I just wanted you to know what's on the line before we headed out to Daibo. She rubs her eyes, stretches. I'm gonna get my kit ready. I recommend that you do the same. Hold on, hold action on that shoot. There are still some jobs that I need to finish, and you need to rest? I don't have any jobs, do I? Alright, I'm on it. Let's finish this. Go to Jomo when you're ready. He'll sneak us into Daibo, and we'll bring this thing to a close. Oh, really? Okay, it is 4 missions. Apparently this is... Are we really gonna bring this to a close in Daibo? I thought we were going in there just to look for information. Oh, in SCKC, I can't promise that we'll come back to the Benteng after this is over. Take in the sights now because it might be the last chance you get. Alright, got it. I'll see you at Jomo's boat. She begins to look away, then seems to think better of it. The camera refocuses on her face. Oh, and SCKC, your bosses rock. That Kong that you took from Eddie Pang got broken in the move. I found it in about 50 pieces when we got here. It's in the wastebasket under my desk if you still want it, but I can't imagine it's worth much anymore. Sorry about that. You broke it? You broke the rock? The video feed crackles and dies. Choose phase wings off your PDA and the display goes dark. Well, this presents us with something of a conundrum, my friend. He takes a drag on his cigarette and slowly releases the smoke through his nostrils. Koschei paws at the ground. If this payment goes through, your Shadowrunning days with this team are over. With a sin, you would be a liability. You could perhaps remain in Hioi, but you need to find a different line of work. A difficult decision, I put some thought into it. See that you do. For now, we have a job to prepare for. Kindly Cheng wishes us to complete this task, and so we will, payday or no. This conspiracy could pose a threat to the Yellow Lotus, and we cannot say with certainty whether it does or not until we enter that warehouse in Daibo. You're right, get ready, we've got a secure facility to raid. Alright, and then they all walk away. Hey, can I get my rock back? It's in a wastebasket? Wait a minute. Didn't she say it's in a wastebasket under her desk? Anyway, the boat doesn't really have anything, right? I mean, these guys aren't gonna give me a mission or anything, right? Yeah, no, they're not gonna... Wait, who's this? Alright, that's Jomo, see you later. Right, so I've already explored my ship. Let's chat with the crew. Rector? Rector glances up from his workstation, an eyebrow arcing upwards as he turns to face you. Under the desk, Koschei dips its chassis in recognition. Well, my friend, our fortunes have undergone an interesting turn, have they not? I would not have thought to find myself cast out to sea, but here we are. It beats going back to the impound yard and getting swarmed by cops. Indeed, in point of fact, I'm rather enjoying the change of scenery. There is something soothing, almost meditative, in watching sea mines bob to the motions of the waves. A relaxed smile spreads across his face. He absent-mindedly fishes a cigarette out of his breast pocket. They're really quite lovely, you know, like enormous sea urchins with shells of rusted iron, pregnant with destructive potential. Just don't get too close to them, Rector. They're bombs, Rector, not sea urchins. Well, they're kind of like sea urchins are prickly. The bombs are prickly, but more so. They're helping keep us safe, that's all that matters to me. Yes, my friend, a most pragmatic view. He snatches a butane torch from the desk, flicks it on, and whisks his cigarette through the flame. A plume of grey smoke curls towards the ceiling. You will forgive me my flights of fancy, I'm sure. Now, is there something I can do for you? I was gearing up to get some work done in the shop, but I can carve some time to talk with you if you like. What do you think of the last run? We have a lead, and we are one step closer to being done with this foolishness. These are positive things, I should think. Lamb's betrayal was aggravating, but not surprising. Only a fool would trust anyone on this task force. They all suckle from the corporate teat. Do they really? Still, our hit on the Tiger's Den was ultimately positive, and now we are lashed to a pirate ship, enjoying the swell of the waves and the smell of salt in the air. A rather large improvement by anybody's standards. Now, do you have any other questions, or shall I return to my work? How are you enjoying life on the Bentang? He pauses a moment, considering. Truthfully, I rather like it. She's a lovely old vessel, and well suited to her role as a floating fortress. And you, how are you enjoying our new, if temporary, home? Well, she's well armed, I'll give her that. As long as she keeps the Hong Kong police force at bay, I'm happy to be here. I actually would prefer to be back in the city. I'm a city person. I like being like close to a lot of services and goods and products. So I would rather not be out in the ocean. The police wouldn't dare venture anywhere near this ship. What is our value compared to that of a patrol boat and the lives of her crew? He shakes his head. Too much to risk for too little gain. They will not come for us here. Alright, see you later. Gaiju is seated cross-legged on the floor of his cabin, his swords unsheathed in front of him. An array of tools rest nearby, and the air is thick with the scent of clove oil. The tools include a stack of small paper squares, several stones, a tiny metal pick, and a high-tech vice grip of some sort. He raises a hand in greeting as you enter. Pardon me if I did not stand, SCKC. Fine as these swords may be, they require as much maintenance as any other weapon. Burrs to be sanded out, dents to be reformed, etc. The salt air here does the blade no favors. Please make yourself at home. What's the vice grip for? It's a diamond coating rebonder. It cannot replicate the decote process that covers the blades, but it can patch spots where the diamond edge coating has worn away or become rough. The materials are rather expensive, as you may guess. Now, what may I do for you? What do you think of the last run? Gaiju snorts and spits on the ground. Betrayal. It was inevitable. I do admit I suspected that it would be Chu who was responsible. Lamb. He seemed too high-principled and naive to me. I suppose that I was wrong. But their trap was sprung and we defeated it. We fought our way from within a police station, finding victory where others would surely have tasted only death. Rejoice in this, my friend. It means that the enemy is stupid and underestimates us. Though that may change now that we have survived their trap. Alright, see you later, Gaiju. I might look into getting a better weapon for Gaiju. I don't know if there is a better weapon for Gaiju. You find Duncan pacing the small room, his thoughts elsewhere, but his reverie breaks as soon as you approach him. He looks thankful for the distraction. What's up? I can't... I don't have anything to say to him? Alright. Can't even ask him about him getting his sin back, potentially. Isobel... You sense a change in the environment immediately upon entering the room. Seconds later it hits you, it's quiet in here. The usual drone of beeps, hums and fans is conspicuously absent. Isabel leans up against a steel table, picking what looks like a glass off of a warped circuit board. Her profile is illuminated with a blue-green glow by the glowing screen beside her. She looks up at you with heavy eyes, she speaks and her tone is grave. So, it all comes down to this. We knew that this was coming. What I find surprising is what happened in here. Why is it so quiet? Her hand pauses, and a piece of glass falls from between her fingers. She hesitates, sets down the circuit board. Had to power everything down, just in case, well, in case something happens and I don't come back. Really? Her eyes bore into the floor at her feet, except for the octopus, that is. The octopus stays on. We'll be back, Isabel. We've lived through a hell of a lot worse. You shouldn't trivialize this mission, SCKZ. Every run could be our last, even the small ones. We're Shadowrunners. You've got to think cautiously, always. I mean, that's why I have 2 ginormous guns. I will if you will. The little decker rolls her eyes at your comment, but the corner of her mouth lifts into a smile. Yes, CKZ, okay, I can do that. What'd you think of the last run? Isabel's eyes are cold when she looks at you. A bitterness creeps into her voice when she speaks. We saw it coming. No, we should have seen it coming. Hell, with our luck, it's a wonder that both Lamb and Chu didn't turn on us. Sure, we still have the company woman on our side, but things have gotten a lot more complicated. Just for once, I wish we could be one step ahead of our enemies. She shakes her head and tosses her hands up in defeat. Oh well, nothing but old news now. Only thing we can do is learn from it and move on. Any more questions? Nope. I have two massive guns though. Gobbits. You enter Gobbit's cabin to find her gulping something from a chipped plastic mug. As the mug's contents slosh and churn, a sharp antiseptic note stings your nostrils. She glances up from her drink and locks eyes with you. Antiseptic? What are you doing? The pirates make this. I think it's a kind of whiskey. What, you crazy? She frowns down at the mug. I don't know what they make it from, but it tastes like salty turpentine. Why are you drinking it? Because I needed a drink, and this stuff kicks like a meal. I mean, it's definitely swill, but it's powerful swill. You want some? Sure, hit me with it. She hands you the mug. That antiseptic odor hits you in the sinuses again, bringing water to your eyes. It smells anything but appetizing, but it doesn't look much better. Alright, let's go for it. You tilt back the mug and fill your mouth with liquor. The flavor is repulsive. It's closer to an industrial solvent than a beverage, and your stomach turns as the fluid traces a grainy, fiery trail down your throat. Every bodily instinct that you possess urges you to spit it out, to purge yourself of the horrible poison that you've ingested. Willpower 6! Ignore your instincts and swallow the liquor! You fight your rebelling body and force yourself to keep the fluid down. A few seconds later, a pleasant warmth begins to radiate from your chest, out through the tips of your fingers. The aftertaste is still vile, but the buzz is quite pleasant. I wouldn't do this in real life. Nicely done, Seattle. 10 points for style. She smiles at you. So what did you want to talk about? Go ahead and tell me. I'm all ears. What do you think of the benteng? It's a tricked out barge that doesn't go anywhere. That makes it a glorified raft. Think back to the last raft we spent a lot of time on, the sinking ship. Think of the shit that went down there. Remember the smell of the killing pits? The disease-ridden rat monsters that tried to eat us? Yeah, I do remember. Yeah, well, when you already know the answer to your question, well then you already know the answer to your question. It's not that I don't appreciate what the pirates are doing for us. Hell, I kinda like some of them. They're a fun group. I just prefer to hang out on dry ground, that's all. Her knees flex as she adjusts to a sudden sway of the deck, a rogue wave. After it passes, she puts her hands on her hips and focuses on you. Anyway, what about you, Seattle? How are you enjoying the pirate life? It's a temporary fix for a bad situation, and I'm at peace with that. Sounds like we're on the same page, more or less. Let's just try to make it as temporary a fix as possible, nah? I don't want to spend any more time out here than I have to. Same. Anyway, let's talk about something else. Change the subject, surprise me. Nope, gonna run. Alright, so let me look for a sword. Jomo sells swords, right? Ares monosword, damage 5. You know what? Never mind. Extremely sharp and unlikely to blunt. Centurion laser axe. So why is it 2 more damage for the same price? A two-handed warsword capable of hacking through armor. May do AP damage on critical hits. Shiny sword imbued with shamanic magic. Requires chi casting. Close combat 7. Are these, like, is this more accurate? I don't understand, like, why they're the same price, but some do more damage. Anyway, what's his name again? The ghoul's sword does 5 damage, right? Alright, so the swords we can buy are not any better. Alright, I'm gonna save the game here. When we come back, we're gonna guide you. We're gonna hit the Daibo facility. Alright, let me save here. Gaichu's sword is 5 damage, I think. Wait, I can't save? Right. See you next time.